Howdy folks, Maximum Gee here with Dave Roberts, and today we're going to be talking about Splatoon, the odd mashup of first-person shooting and child squids and paint and Nintendo, and it's just an odd combination. Dave, I know you've played it a lot more than I have, so why don't you go ahead and give us the rundown on what this game is?
Well, it's a third-person shooter from Nintendo, which seems like a weird combination. They're not typically known for shooting games at all.
Right.
But it's a shooter in a way that only Nintendo can do it. It's very cutesy. It's very bubbly, very buoyant, vibrant,
and very colorful because the main mechanic of the game is covering these maps with paint.
Right, so you play as a bunch of squids. They're these people called Inklings, and they have two different forms. They have their human form, where they're like little tentacles or their hair, basically, and they run around and they shoot people and they cover the ground with their squid ink with their little squirt guns that they have, and they can transform into a squid and duck down into the ground into the ink that they shoot. So when you're playing the game, whether you're doing the single player or the multiplayer, you just want to be covering the floor with so much ink, just constantly covering the floor with ink, because what that does is that makes it easier for you to get around the level faster, because you can just zip around in the ink like swimming through. Also, if you're in your opponent's ink, you can't duck into the ground, and it hurts you. And it slows you down.
Right. It's like a thick sludge or a mud. Like you just have to trudge through it.
Yeah. The multiplayer, the way it works, it's less about team kills and more about just covering the map with as much ink as you possibly can.
Right. Yeah. When I played a couple of matches, it seemed like defeating the other players was basically just a secondary objective. Like you're mostly just focusing on covering up the map with paint. And if you are able to maybe knock out a few other players along the way, so much better.
Yeah, and it's kind of brilliant that way. Like it's a really interesting take on a genre that kind of gets mired down in the,
right, everything's
killtacular and
brown and gray and gritty marines and everything.
Taking cover, and the maps are really tight. They're pretty small. Maps are short. They take about three minutes or so for a match to go from beginning to end. So it's really fast. It's really snappy. And
I mean, how does that if it does take around 3 minutes to get from start to finish, like how does that pacing feel? Does it just feel super chaotic, like you just jump in and everybody's just flying around and all of a sudden it's over?
Yeah, like there's some weird design decisions that Nintendo had with the game. Like there's no team chat whatsoever. So
right.
You can't communicate with your team members other than either saying "come on" or "booyah" with the D-pad.
Really? Wait, are those really the only two you get?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all you get. And I'm actually kind of okay with that, just because the game is really good about communicating what you need to be doing at a given moment. So, it's like, okay, well, there's pink ink over there, you're green, cover the pink with green. And just, like, you can look at your gamepad, and the gamepad has a map of the entire area. It tells you where all of your teammates are. Mm-hmm. You can boost off to their location just by pressing their icon on the map. So there's enough information that the game is constantly presenting to you, and what you're supposed to be doing is so clear at all times that team chat would just I really don't know what it would be other than just people I mute team chat in every other game 95% of the time anyway. So it would just I don't want to deal with the garbage of chatting with people. So to me,
in terms of map structure, the maps that I played were all basically a big hallway. And it never really strayed very far, left or right. So everybody was kind of channeled down this one central path.
Yeah.
Is that how it feels in the rest of the game?
Yeah, the multiplayer is the maps are pretty compact. There are a couple that kind of have a few branching paths, but they're still relatively small. Some paths kind of double back on each other, go up and down. There's a lot of vertical movement in this game too, because you can paint up the side of walls and swim up them. So you can use that to get a vantage point over the other players for if you have one of the sniper rifles.
So yeah, like you mentioned sniper rifles. Are there different weapon types? Because again, when I played it, we only had like the standard like water gun type weapon, and then one of the super weapons. So like, is there a big arsenal?
Yeah, there's a pretty varied arsenal. Most of them are simply like squirt gun takes on typical weapons. So you have the splatter shot, which looks like a super soaker, but it's kind of your generic assault rifle, medium range, decent power, decent fire rate. You have your splatter shot juniors, which look like these little like tiny squirt guns that you would get at a dollar store. But those were kind of my go-to weapon. Like, even though you get those right at the beginning, they're pretty powerful because what they lack in their short range, they make up for in rapid fire. So you can just zip in real fast and take people out really quick with them. But then there are also some more unique weapons. Like there's the paint roller, which seems to be pretty popular. At least on the multiplayer matches that I played. But basically, it's this giant, just this steamroller where you're just rolling paint on the ground. It's really good for covering the ground, and if you tap the trigger, it's kind of like it's really slow, but it'll give you a nice shotgun spread with it. So yeah, like each of the weapons are unique little takes on more conventional weaponry, but
right, they're kind of a spin on established archetypes.
Yeah, but a lot of them just tend to be like different variations of the same weapon. Like this one is a rapid fire weapon, but it's slower and more powerful. This one is faster, but it's, not as powerful. It would have been nice to see more unique weapons, kind of like the paint roller. Mm-hmm. But all of them are pretty fun to use, and they're really easy to use. The motion controls are going to turn off some. I actually enjoyed using them because, again, it's less about taking people out and more about covering the ground, and having the motion control there makes it really easy to just sweep your gamepad around and just get paint everywhere, as opposed to like trying to line up precise shots.
So did you mostly end up playing with the gamepad, or were you also able to use like the Wiimote, nunchuck, or like any other controller configuration?
I mostly just used I stuck with the gamepad just because it has the map there, but you can use the Pro controller, which you can also use, like, there's a 1v1 mode for local multiplayer where you can compete with a friend and shoot down a bunch of balloons and stuff around a course. You can't do the 4v4 multiplayer with a local player, though. Unfortunately, it's all multiplayer. It's all online.
So then, outside of the online modes, like, what does the game have in terms of single player?
Single player, it's short. It's almost
it barren.
Yeah, it's almost painfully short, just because what's there is really brilliant. It feels kind of like, I don't want to evoke Super Mario Galaxy's name here because I feel like Super Mario Galaxy's on this whole other level, but it has that same kind of feel where each of the levels are these self-contained little bursts of ideas, and one level will have these sponges that you can shoot that will, like, when you fill them up with ink, they grow bigger and you can use them to swim up, but if enemies attack them, they get smaller, so you have to be really careful there. Other ones have these like little tight ropes that you can suck yourself into. You shoot them with ink and you can suck yourself into, and you can launch yourself out of them to shoot people. And it's really, like, the way that it takes these ideas and constantly builds on them with each new level and introduces new ideas. It's really cool, and then it's over. The story is like it might as well just be non-existent. Essentially, the Octarians have stolen your power source, the Zapfish, and you have to go, and each level at the end you find the Zapfish and you take it, and yay, everything's happy. And then by the end you're trying to stop the evil Octarian king from kidnapping your buddy Captain Cuttlefish. It's, it's goofy, but it
is what it is.
Yeah, it might as well just not even be there. But
I know a lot of people were excited when the Splatoon amiibos got announced. Like, how does the amiibo support factor in?
Okay, so this, like, I haven't gotten my amiibo yet. It should be coming in the mail soon. But the way that it works is each amiibo, like, each Splatoon amiibo unlocks a set of 20 weapon-specific challenges in the game.
Oh, okay.
And once you finish all the challenges, you get a special item that you can use in multiplayer. and then by completing all 3 sets of challenges, because there are 3 amiibo, you get another set of items you can use in multiplayer. The thing that rubs me the wrong way, like whether or not they're good or not, is kind of a moot point. It's just, like, multiplayer, there's a total of 5 maps. Single player took me about 4 hours to beat. This is a short game, and it doesn't have a ton of content. And now you're essentially forcing players to spend $35 to buy these 3 amiibo to unlock more content, in addition to the $60 that they're already paying for the game. Feels a little gross to me.
That is I mean, anywhere else, a $35 DLC pack would be a pretty steep price to pay.
Yeah, like, even, you know, sure, the amiibo look cool, but it's like the game is already lacking in content as it is, and to gate more content that it so desperately needs behind these amiibo just feels weird to me.
So then, taking all that into consideration, Dave, what did you end up scoring Splatoon?
I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It's got a ton of great ideas, and it's one of the cutest, most inventive shooters around, but it's lacking in content, and just some of the decisions, the design decisions that they made in regards to like how you access the multiplayer maps, and the you can't choose your loadout. In between matches, you have to go back to the menu to choose your loadout, then go back into the game, and it's just, I wanted to love this game so much more. This should be the best game on the Wii U.
Right.
And there's more content coming down the pipeline, but it's not here now, and who knows if people are going to be playing it a month from now, 3 months from now. Like, people gave up on Titanfall after a week, and that game had way more content than Splatoon.
So, Dave, before we go ahead and wrap it up here, is there anything else you wanted to add about Splatoon?
Yeah, just for all the unique flair that Splatoon has, it also does some things that, for the sake of being different, that I don't think are very good.
Perhaps a bit of over-design.
Yeah, or just weird stuff to kind of hide the fact that the game doesn't have much content. So every 4 hours, the game rotates out 2 of the game's 5 maps. So for a 4-hour period, you can only play on 2 maps. This is a problem because while it seems like it's there to hide the fact that there aren't enough maps, and to keep everyone kind of funneled onto the same 2 maps, what ends up happening is the random number generator just, like, I got the same map 13 times in a row.
Oh, wow.
So
Wait, it doesn't just automatically just bounce from one to the other? You quote-unquote randomly?
Yeah, no,
wow.
Wow. Yeah, so I counted. I played the same map, then I played it again. I was like, oh, okay, so is there another map? And then I played it again, and okay, why am I still on the same? And then I played it again, and so rather than pulling from the whole set of even like just the small amount that they have, when you're pulling just from 2 and you're only playing 1 map for an hour and a half, it starts to get kind of old. Plus, every 4 hours, the game, when it rotates those maps, it bumps you back out to the main home screen, so that these 2, like this girl band that they're on the TV screen, they give you the rundown of all the maps.
Yeah.
Every time you start up the game, they give you a rundown of the maps, and every 4 hours, the game kicks you back out to give you another rundown of the maps. But it doesn't tell you anything that's important. It's just like, it's basically a minute of them talking about nothing other than, here are the maps that you can play on now. Here's a bunch of flavor text that it's cute the first time. It's really annoying after that.
Right, after that, you're like, okay, I get it. It's a map.
Yeah.
I've done this before.
But yeah, like, just weird stuff like that. Like, once you're locked into a match, you cannot switch your loadout. So you have to go back to the equip screen to equip your different items and your different weapons, and then you go back to the match. You also can't see what your other team is equipping. So you could just you could just play a match that has 4 paint rollers and just be like, well, we didn't coordinate this at all, guys.
But Dave, that would be far too strategic. This game's about having goofy fun.
No, it's true, but it's also, it's something that you just kind of expect to be there. I'm not saying that the game needs you to, like, you know, on death that you should be able to switch your classes out at any time. The matches are really quick, so that's not a huge deal, but just the inability of, like, while you're waiting for a match to load, that you can't just pop into your equip screen real quick and just, you know, change your gear to something else. You have to back out all the way. It's 2015. Like, this is stuff that we figured out.
It would have been way too convenient.
Yeah. And just just lots of really weird little stuff like that just kind of rub me the wrong way. Ranked matches, those don't unlock until enough people that are playing Splatoon hit level 10. It's not once you hit level 10 you can access ranked matches. It's when enough players that are playing Splatoon hit level 10, Nintendo will unlock the ability to do rank battles, which then opens up another mode that you can play. Because right now, in the base version of Splatoon, you can only play Turf War. You cannot play any other mode until you hit ranked. But that will only unlock when Nintendo says
Gating
so.
content based on the performance of other players besides yourself does seem like a very odd decision to make.
Yeah, it's just another reminder that there's just not enough content here. Like, if this game came out 3-4 months from now, if this came out in August or September, and all that free content that's going to be rolled out over the next couple months was included in the game, like, you can make a better argument for Splatoon like getting a higher score. But to me, it's just right out of the gate, there's not enough here, and that it makes me sad.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's our review of Splatoon. For the full text review, be sure to head on over to GamesRadar.com, where you'll find that and plenty more Splatoon coverage. All right, folks, thanks for watching. And if you want to see more great GR Plus videos, well, our YouTube page is right over here. And if you want to get your READ read on, the GR Plus website is right over there.